I'm Lucas Morel, Professor of Politics here at Washington Lee University. Let me begin by thanking Martha Apgar, the Apgar Foundation, and Cliff Franson for asking me to get this conference going. Professor Robert Strong, Associate Provost and Director of the Johnson Leadership Program here at Washington Lee, Mark Rush, Head of the Politics Department, and Linda Bassett Maria of the Williams School of Commerce, Economics, and Politics were also a great help in arranging this weekend's events. Tonight's keynote address kicks off a conference entitled Lincoln for the Ages, Lessons for the 21st Century. It will include panel discussions beginning tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. and running through the afternoon. In February and March, Washington and Lee University will also host several public lectures devoted to Lincoln, starting with an address on Lincoln's birthday by the renowned Civil War historian James McPherson. Our fall conference commemorates the bicentennial of Lincoln's birth by examining aspects of Lincoln's character, politics, and war leadership to see what they can teach us today. For example, how should race or religion be addressed in the public square? Can literature shape political practice? Is there such a thing as noble ambition? Can partisanship promote the public good? Does executive prerogative and strong wartime leadership help or hinder liberty? Brave the rain tomorrow and contribute to the discussion of these still relevant questions. The panels are free and open to the public, but if you want to join us for lunch, come up with $30 and register tomorrow at the Stackhouse Theater in the Elrod Commons. It all again begins tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Our speaker this evening has agreed to answer a few questions after his talk, so please use the cards provided if you care to submit a question and pass them to the ushers at the conclusion of the address. When Lincoln died of an assassin's bullet on April 15, 1865, Secretary of War Edwin N. Stanton was heard to remark, "Now he belongs to the ages." Some believe that Stanton said, "angels." Either way, with the exception of our namesake George Washington, Lincoln belongs to this nation in a way unlike any other American president. It was Lincoln who appealed to the better angels of our nature as the secession crisis came to a head. Many would say that Lincoln himself was the better angel of our nature, as he worked to reconnect the principles of America's founding and the constitutional structure of American self-government. Frederick Douglass said that in Lincoln, Americans found a full-length portrait of themselves. To get a look at this iconic American figure through 21st century eyes, we have invited Associate Justice Clarence Thomas to light the way. I must confess, while I know that Justice Thomas admires the American founders, as well as Abraham Lincoln, I have no idea what he is going to say tonight. He even embargoed the title of his address. I do know Justice Thomas understands human equality as the heart of the Constitution, because it was the heart of the Declaration of Independence. In so doing, Justice Thomas sees the connection between these two documents in the same way that Lincoln did. Divorce these documents from each other, and the Constitution would become merely a vehicle for self-interested majorities, a form of political might dictating right. But there's another reason why I invited Justice Thomas to reflect on the legacy of Lincoln and the American Civil War. This year, as the nation explored the significance of Lincoln, there seemed to be a growing sentiment that what makes Lincoln relevant to our generation is his so-called capacity for growth. This view of Lincoln argued that his greatness derived from his openness to change. This evolving Lincoln, the argument goes, needs to be rescued from his early unprogressive attitude towards blacks, slavery, and In short, the great thing about Lincoln was that he got better as the nation got worse. And this evolution in his thinking points the way for subsequent generations to follow his example. As you can guess, I don't share this opinion of Lincoln. I think the Lincoln Bicentennial is worth celebrating because Lincoln understood some basic truths about the American founding and thought them worthy of preserving, even to the point of war. Similarly, in Justice Thomas, we find a man and a justice who recognizes these same truths about our nation's founding. He sees the importance of a constitution that has a meaning beyond the personal preferences of judges. It was this constitution, informed by the ideals of the Declaration of Independence, that gave hope to Americans long denied their fair share of the nation's bounty. Justice Thomas lived during a time when the rights and privileges secured for some were denied to others on the arbitrary distinction of color. But even though he grew up in a segregated America, Clarence Thomas learned from our founding documents that race should not be the measure of anyone's rights, not in America. And so I could not think of anyone better to kick off this conference, examining the life and politics of the greatest student of the American founding. So please join me in welcoming a great American to this podium, Justice Clarence Thomas.